further ado, I'm going to just move it forward and have Kim Grady introduce herself and move forward the presentation. And this is on time management. So Kim, if you'd like to take over.
All right, great. Thank you, Travis. I appreciate it. I am so glad that there are over 40 of you here today. Thank you so much. Let me first tell you, my name is Kim Grady. I am the Health and Wellbeing Coordinator for Borslow Insurance. I am also the personal trainer for our company. And I also give these webinars. This is one of my more fun tasks at hand. And today we're going to talk about working smarter and not harder. And with that, I hope I am able to give you some ideas. Many of these I'm sure you have heard, but I hope that you can take something away or revisit something to help your world, which I know can be a little crazy at times, become a little more efficient and effective. Next screen. Oh. Travis? There we go. Can everyone see the screen? I just got a notification that some people cannot. Yes, visible now. Great. Okay, thank you for letting us know. So before we get started, just want to let you know that our health well-being team is here to help you. We're here to guide, support, and advise you as you build well-being programs for your employees. We foster relationships through each and every one of you, through collaborating with you as you enter the world of wellness and also bring those programs out to your employees. We're here to build awareness. And as you all know, we bring monthly calendars out to you, or an annual calendar with monthly topics to help and support you. We provide you with structure as you are launching your programs, and we're here to maintain and share expertise in the area of health and well-being. Before we get started, I'd love, Travis, if you'd launch the poll on how many of you are currently using a time management system. If you can launch that poll.
Yeah, we are launched.
We are launched. Good. I can't see it on my end.
Sorry.
No problem. It's launching.
So it's still going. We're
let you
questions out. There's 54 folks. And right now we have 45, 54 answered, a few more coming in. It looks like right now there's 83% with no and 17% with yes.
Oh, I am. That makes me really happy, because then this will give you, for those of you who have are not using the time management system, I hope this can launch you into the world of time management. And I'm going to show you some great ideas. And go ahead, Travis, let's get started. Because of course, on our agenda today, we're going to talk about goals and how they have to, what they have to do with time management, 6 methods for prioritizing your to-do list. Another interesting topic, what type of procrastinator are you? I'll offer you a way to do a time audit, and then we'll finish with some time management tools that you can take away. So before we even get started, often people don't realize that we need goals. I mean, we can sit there when we're younger and we think of that, and then you start reaching your 40s and 50s and you think, okay, well, I don't know, things have gone to the wayside that have to do with what goals I have in my life. And Dennis Waitley is a gentleman who wrote The Psychology of Winning. This is from 1989 and at the height of me launching into my career. So what he says here is the reason most people never reach their goals is that they don't define them or ever seriously consider them as believable or achievable. Now, if we're not setting goals, what's going to happen is life is going to live us. We aren't going to live life. So before we can even get started with that long and that can look very daunting to-do list, we also have to think about what goals do we have for ourselves, because on that list it needs to be included the goals, whether they're personal or work-related goals that you may have that you would like to achieve. So you've heard me talk about this before, and you're going to see me say it again because it is so important. And it's called SMART goals. So what we mean by that is setting a specific goal. I'm going to use an example for me, and Travis is well aware of this, that I am in the process of getting a certification. It's one I've wanted for many years, and it's called Precision Nutrition. So I have a specific goal. That is my goal. And what do I plan to do? Well, I plan to study, and I plan to achieve it. And I'm putting a timely, which we'll get to, date on that. Measure. How will I know I'm making progress in reaching my goal? Well, I'll know because this is chapters in it, and I will have methods along or points along the way at which by a certain time I want to be through so many chapters. Your goal may be I am writing a book or I'm giving a presentation, and by a certain date you want to have certain things lined out. Attainable. Do I have the resources and time right now to achieve this goal? Well, back a few years ago I didn't, but now I do. So here comes that goal back into my life. Is it relevant? Can I make this a priority? And what am I willing to give up? Because it does take time away from my family, time away from doing things I want to do, time away from things that are important for work. And so I have to consider that as well. And timely, is this a good time to start? And when does this goal end? They often say a goal without a plan is just a wish. And then you want to evaluate and assess your goals. You can often say, I have these great goals, but if you're not putting a plan in place and measuring them, then what good is it? So you want to measure, is my goal measurable? Am I reaching the deadlines I set out for myself? And can my goals be broken down into daily and weekly action plans? And most importantly, track and measure your goals. And don't worry, perfection is the enemy of the good. You may start at the beginning of the year, or often people think of September as another new start. And it's okay if you haven't reached some of those goals, or you've had to take it, some of them have had to take a back seat. This is when we can reassess. What areas of time management do you struggle with? Well, I struggle with almost all of these. So not setting career and personal goals, failure to prioritize. That can often be, we can often be just shooting from the hip and trying to dodge every email that comes in and every request from our family. Procrastination. Yes, we are all guilty of it. Failure to manage distractions. So hard in this world. Multitasking. I like to think I'm good at it, but I'm not, and most people are not. Ineffectively scheduling your tasks. And finally, being busy, but not being effective. So let's start with, I'd like you to think of this as an inverted triangle. So we're going to do a brain dump. I want you to find a place to put your master to-do list. I'm old fashioned. I like to put it on a piece of paper. I love to cross things off my list. It's very satisfying to me. But you may be much more into technology, and there are apps such as To-Do List, InTask, AnyDo, Any.do. I didn't check that one out, and Google Keep. So that's the first thing. Dump everything. It includes work, personal, anything on your to-do list, your goals, brain dump. Take a while to do that. And then I'm going to ask you to take that list and do the 4 Ds of managing that list. What does that mean? Well, you're going to look at your list and you're going to see do. If you can complete that task in under 2 minutes, you're going to do it. Delete. Remove from that list things that have been on there. I don't know about you, but I've got this thing on my list for years on organizing my kids' photos. Well, you know what? I haven't done it. It's obviously not important to me. It doesn't make my life easier or simpler. So I'm going to put that, and I'm not going to delete it. I'm just going to put it on another list for a someday list. Delegate. Assign to somebody else some of these tasks that you may want to, that need to be accomplished. And it doesn't mean you don't follow up. You can put it on a calendar to make sure you follow up with that person. And then defer. Defer is the main list that we're using. And that, oops, there you go. Defer is a complete it later. And this is the list that we're going to work with today, or you're going to work with at some point in your, as you're managing your to-dos. There you go. Next slide, Travis, please. So here are 6 methods for prioritizing your tasks. Using a priority matrix. I'm going to go through all these. Using relative prioritization, making a prioritized list for today, task list, the MITs, not the school, the most important tasks, Pick a single thing to focus on and then find your 20% task list. These are ways for you to manage that list that you have just brain dumped and now brought down to the defer. And go on. So I'm sure all of you at some point in your life have heard of Stephen Covey. He wrote a book, The 7 Habits for Highly Effective People. And as you can see, he has a quadrant here, or matrix. And you can visualize, and I don't know about you, but I'm a very visual person. So this helps me by taking my major to-do list and putting it into these quadrants. So important and urgent is what really needs to be done, and urgent has to be done soon, right? It's something that's red hot. The second is important but not urgent. This is what you want to get down to. This quadrant is one of the most important because it can make your life so much easier. These are things that are important, but you're not having to, work under the gun to get it done. Not important and urgent, you're going to delegate. And then we talk about the not urgent, not important. Those are things that we can eliminate if you still have some of those things on that list. So let's say you've done the priority matrix and you go, oh, great, Kim, I still have so many things in that urgent and important quadrant. You're going to take that list and you're going to prioritize it from 1 to 12, 1 to 10, whatever number that is. And no two tasks can have the same number. You can do this in a couple of apps, actually. The to-do list app lets you do this, and Kanban, Kanban, let you prioritize your tasks, and you can move them all around as life warrants it. And then you think, okay, I'm really struggling here. I'm still struggling to get 3 things done. And if your task list, like mine, is a constant, it's not static, it doesn't stay the same, make a priority task list for today. So that would be like your 3 top things that need to get done today. And it can be theme-based. So if you say increase sales, I'm focusing on that today, it can be a theme. And make that list and know that that's the thing, that those are the 3 tasks you're going to get done today. Oh, this is another one. Well, so this is the most, can you go back, Travis, please? I'm sorry. So making the priority task list for today is also, I want you to remember here, is allocating the time on your calendar, and always take more time than you think it's going to take to complete a task. So if you think you have to send out 5 emails and it's going to take you 20 minutes, make it an hour. Always cushion that. And you want to make sure that you're going to ignore everything else that you had on your list and make this priority, these priorities for today. Most important task. This, it's very simple, as Leo Babauta from Zen Habits, another book. These are all from the late 80s. Time management was big then, and it's coming back. Your MIT is the task you most want or need to get done that day. Okay, so again, we're talking about taking it one day at a time. And you think you can ignore all the other things and focus on those top 3 things. And then you're going to have those days where those 3 things look overwhelming and you think, oh my gosh, I can't even get through those 3 things. So choose a single task, one task that you can do for that day that is going to help your list and help move you forward. And again, like I mentioned before, it can be theme related, sales, you're going to increase sales. Well, what are the steps to do today to help you increase those sales? Or if you're like me and you think, okay, I want to get to my precision nutrition certification, what one task today can I do to get me closer to that goal? And I mentioned here momentum for Chrome. If you use Chrome as your browser, they have an extension that you can add that's called Momentum. So when you log in, it has a really pretty picture on the back and it says, Kim, what is your focus of today? And I can tell you by just typing in what my focus is of the day, helps register in my brain that that is going to be my focus. So those are all, that's a little tip that you can have on your computer. And I'm sure many of you have heard of the Pareto principle. 80% of your results come from 20% of your work. Ask yourself what you'd work on today if you could only do 3 things, then cut it down to 2 things, then cut it down to 1 thing. And you'll notice that 20% of that effort will present 80% of your results. And that's being effective. So I'm going to put up a poll, which I can't see. So let me know when you launch it. Travis, give me the scoop. I want you to walk away today with something you're going to try. What are you willing to try of the things that 6 things that I just went over with you? Are you going to try the
launching it right now?
Awesome. The priority matrix, just a reminder, is Steve Covey's idea of doing the quadrants. Relative prioritization is making that quadrant that has a lot in it and prioritizing. Making a prioritized task list just for today. Making an MIT, because each day, as we know, if your list is not static, you may want to just focus on 3 things or even 1 thing. Or are you willing to find where your 20% is?
Let's see, we're halfway there out of the 62. We have about 40 that have answered, still going.
Interesting.
Let's see if we can get to 80%. We're close.
Good.
All right. Oh, looks like we're at about almost there, 90.
I'm gonna write this down.
All right, we're at 86%, and I'm gonna end the poll. Oh, just had a few last minute ones come in.
It's hard.
And it looks like, all right, my share results. Everybody see that?
I can't see it on my end for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay, so
you-
priority matrix, 15%. Prioritization, 5%.
Okay.
List for today, 56%. That was your
Good.
largest. MIT's 5%. Single thing to focus on, 13%, and find your 20%, 5%.
Awesome. So of course we've got the make the prioritized task list for today. That is great. I'm going to give you a tip on those 56% of you that would like to do that. That is a great place to start. I would like you to do that at the end of every day before you shut down for work. And that way you're not opening your email in the morning, putting out fires. I know you're going to have to, that's life, but that's one thing to make that prioritized task list work for you, is to look at the end of each day and think about what you're going to focus on for the next day. And we're going to go, I think we go into now. Yes, I love this. What type of procrastinator are you? So we're going to get into some habits here. So I'm going to give you what these each are. Actually, I wonder if I should do what do you think, Travis? Should I do the poll now and then go over?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do
Let's
the poll
go.
now, and then I'll tell everyone, see if everyone can kind of figure out what they are just based on the name.
All right, we'll launch it now.
And then we can go from there. I know which one I am. I think I'm 2 of them.
We are halfway there.
Good. Yeah, because they have to think about it. Overbooker, self-deprecator.
Ooh, I'm definitely number 3.
Yeah, you are. But you're also a novelty seeker. You like shiny things.
Right. Looks like we're almost there. We're at 90%. I'll close in just a few minutes.
Yeah, let everyone take their time.
I know it's a tough one.
And you could be more than one. I'm not saying you have to be one.
All right, I'm going to close it now.
Okay, great.
Oh boy.
Okay, so
There we
again,
go.
I don't know.
So the performer it's pretty equal across the board, except for the novelty seeker. Performer is 26%. The
Okay.
self one is 26%. The overbooker one is 39%, and the novelty seeker is 9%.
9%. Interesting. Okay, so for those of you in the top 3, the performer, I'm sure many of you can figure this out. You're the one who's a perfectionist. You're the one that thinks, I'm not going to do this until I can do it perfect. And what does my husband always remind me? Perfection is the enemy of the good, right? Perfect is the enemy of the good. So, or you could also be one of those who just performs better under pressure. Like I can get to it and I'm going to perform under pressure. So my suggestion for you, your biggest challenge here is getting started, right? That's always a challenge for the performer. And the other challenge is, or what I'm going to ask you to do is put a date before something's due, even like a week before. So for those of you at the 26%, the next time you have a task, and usually the ones that we don't want to do, A or B, we know we can do really well, but aren't going to start until we're perfect. This self-deprecator, that's me. I'm lazy, I can't get to it, I just don't work hard enough. These are all the horrible things we self-talk and say to ourselves. So we're not going to do, so your biggest challenge is just not feeling so crappy about yourself and not being motivated, right? So that what you're going to do, self-deprecators, is you're going to talk nicely to yourself, and you're going to tell yourself that you're a hard worker. You are able to do these things, and you're going to take a walk and give yourself a break, and then come back and start whatever you're procrastinating. You're going to start doing it. The overbooker. How many people do you hear say, I'm so busy, I don't have time for anything? Guess what? We all have the same 24 hours in a day, but often overbookers are avoiding something. Okay. So a lot of people like to fill their calendar up with so many things and to say they're so busy because they're avoiding doing some other things, whether it's in their personal life, looking internally, trying to figure out what's going on. I'm not a psychiatrist, but there's something that they like to create chaos to avoid facing what needs to be faced. So your solution is to try and figure out, why am I overbooking myself? Why do I continue to say yes to everything? What's going on there? And then for those 9% of us who are novelty seekers, we're the ones that like big shiny objects. And so we have all these great ideas, and we're like, but the problem with us is that we don't finish it, right? So the ideas, for those idea people, I want you to write your ideas literally on a sticky note, and I want you to stick it on there so you don't forget the idea, but complete the task at hand. So I thought that was interesting how we can actually do that. So the first step, so now I'm going to talk about where your attention is. A lot of times we, again, have so much time in the day. We all have the same 24 hours, but where are we giving our time to, our attention to? So Mark Mason is an author, and this is a book of this generation, or the 2000s. He wrote the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving Enough. And he says, just as the first step of a nutritional diet is to consume less food, the first step of an attention diet is to consume less information. Who would have thought? Not all information is good, and you don't need to know it all. So how do we do that? Well, you correctly identify nutritious information and relationships. I know let me speak for myself. I have a love-hate relationship with social media. So now my feeds are full of things that are helpful to me and nutritious to my brain. What about relationships? Not all relationships are healthy. So let's thinking about that. Those are time sucks. Cut out the junk information in the relationships. You don't have to do it, put a sledgehammer to it, but you can slowly start weaning away from some of those relationships and some of that information you feel that you need. And then with that, you're going to hope to cultivate habits of deeper focus and a longer attention span. And that is so true. I mean, that the more time you have to focus, because you're not filling your brain with this unwanted information, you've turned off the news source, you're not listening to the news every night, you're not listening to things that, I don't know about you, but there was a time when I was listening to the news, and this was actually before the most recent news. I want to say it was like in the early 2000s. I couldn't figure out why I was so irritable. Just like an overall irritation. It was because I was filling my head with all this useless information from the news that didn't help me. And so then it became this, like my mind became like a mouse maze. So this is something to think about. Where is your attention going? And where are you spending your time? So your attention and your time are two in the same thing, right? So I'm going to ask you to, not only for those of you who wanted to do your prioritized task list, I'm going to ask you to start tracking your time now. I have an app called Toggle that I use to track my time. I do it for a lot of things. You may think you're not spending that much time scrolling on Facebook. You may not think you're spending that much time watching TV. You may think that you're not spending that much time looking for the greatest and latest, sneakers. So track your time, track your sleep, make sure you're getting enough. Track these areas: family time, me time. What about times when you look back on the day and you're like, I don't even know what I did, but I was busy. Like we want to be aware, more aware. What am I doing? Multitasking? Am I trying to multitask too much? Am I not able to focus? And how much time am I on the computer? I don't have my phone here, but many of you who have the Apple phone know that at the end, you can set it up so it can tell you your screen time. Mine shuts down after a certain amount of time. Of course, I can, unlock it, but it does shut down. So that's something to think about, another way to track how you're spending your time. And I just mentioned toggle. Another one is called stretch clock, your screen time on the phones. Flora is one my daughter uses. I guess I used it for a little bit. It's kind of cool. You can grow a tree. And then as you grow that tree, this company that has the app donates a tree to like places that need trees. You could also use this is called a full focus planner. It is it's a paper. I'm a paper and pen kind of gal. This is awesome. There are many types of planners out here. This one I love because it sets my goals in the front. It has me at the end of every week reassess my goals. I'm going to be honest, some months I'm really great at it, other months I'm not, but I try not to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And then here's another thing, the website blockers. Don't know about you, but if we're procrastinating, we're our best habits are not being enforced, you can easily go and avoid whatever you're doing or wanting to take a break and end up down the rabbit hole of the web. So here are some website blockers: cold turkey, focus, freedom, self-control, help me focus, and stay focused. And again, some of these are, I think some of them are free. I'm sure many of them have a trial period, but these actually lock your computer, that lock your ability to go and browse the web. So those are some ways to make sure that you're keeping track of your time. And James Clear is another man reading his book right now. I highly recommend it to all of you. It's called Atomic Habits. He says the dirty little secret of changing your habit is that your environment has far more of an effect than your willpower does. Hence why those tools that I just told you about, tracking your time, about making sure that you have web blockers on if you find yourself surfing the internet and it's not in your best interest. Also, the task lists I gave you, or the way to manage your tasks. Making your environment is so important to changing your habits and helping to make you more successful. And these are the resources I used to come up with the presentation today. And I thank you so much for joining us today. Our email is right here at wellness@borslow.com. My phone number is beneath that. Feel free to reach out with any questions. We will be sending to all of our wellness coordinators the link to the YouTube of this recording. So for those of you, or if you have somebody who you think might be beneficial from listening to this, it'll be there. And we'll also send a one-pager with some other ideas on how to manage your time. I want you to all reach your goals. I want you to all feel successful and not feel like life is living you, that you are living life. And I thank you all. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask. We have the chat open. I think there's a Q&A box, right, Travis, on the bottom?
Yeah, we did get one question. Just, I know a lot of people have to go because we're at the time, but just so you all know, and Kim did mention this, we will be sharing this with all, and it will be a YouTube channel you can go to as well. Yep. So thank you. I just have a thank you. So thank you all. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email us. Thank you, Kim.
All right. Thank you, guys.